Hello, good morning, all, and welcome back to this fifth session of our project based program. So, in today's session, we are going to discuss about uh, AI in drug discovery, which is the major part of your project uh, because we actually are using AI in our drug discovery for development of the chemo preventive formulations, and we have already utilized AI uh, not only for searching literature but simultaneously in different stages of drug discovery from target identification. I will uh, try to show you some of the tools which we have got when we are actually doing our uh, yeah, lead and the target identification. So let me share with you the PPT of the session. So this is the introductory session which will end um, the introductory part of the AI, so that way you will have the understanding that how AI can be utilized in the project, in the drug discovery project, and then you will be utilizing it in your project. We will be allocating you. I have already shared some of the published article similar to what you will be doing. I will be sharing you an email with your title of the project, and the demo we will show you tomorrow, that how do you use the tools. The tool link will be there in the email with your project title. So when you see the demo tomorrow, you will understand what you need to do, which you can start doing from Saturday, Sunday on from the next week. And we will continue the process of the sessions, so that way you will understand that the information you are getting from the AI, how to utilize it to actually develop the hypothesis and connect the result with the preclinical and the clinical data. So that's what the aim is. We have already, as I showed you in the publication, we have already tried it and tested it, not only with the student but also with Swallow Biotech in the development of the product. Those people who have still not joined the internship program, you can actually join because the recorded sessions are there. You can still join, but again, we are going to have the next batch from 1st of July, and this time we will be having in both mode, online and offline. So you can actually connect to our team, and we can discuss about it. So I will just start with the topic. I will share the presentation. Okay, so let me quickly show you. Okay, so the topic to end the introductory part is to move into the project program, where you will be working to discover that what different targets and what different leads can be moved into the clinical phase of the studies. The predictive medicine is there, clinical is there, and pharmacovigilance is there. Now, Swalife have from the beginning have started making sure that they will always have pharmacovigilance with their product. The product which are nutraceutical, herbal, still there will be PV department for that, so that way we can understand the adverse effect at the beginning only. So with this, you will understand how to handle the different chemical spaces which are available in the small molecule. So why actually we or why there is a change happening this drug discovery and development process, which is already many major pharma company are having a robust software platforms. As I mentioned earlier, billions of molecules are being scanned by the pharma company daily when uh, they actually have robotic instruments which can be very useful to reduce the errors of the human involvement. But still, with that shift also, it is still taking 12 to 15 years and about 2.6 billion uh, value the finance is required for a approved compound. So this is actually time wise, money wise. Again, it is a big number, but one of the major issue is not only that, but the leads which are taken from the basic drug discovery and when they are converted into actually in the product, that percentage is also very less. About 3 to 5% of the molecule reach into the in the um, market. So this is happening due to many issues in the drug discovery process, that is insufficient target validation, issue with the ADMET properties. And with the help of the AI now, at the initial stage only, we can look into this inefficient part of the drug discovery like targets, the leads, ADME properties at the initial stage only. So with the silicon, it was happening, but with the involvement of the AI, as mentioned yesterday and in the previous lectures, it actually helps you to predict and also generate the outcome, which can actually be very useful when we are just looking at the result based on the software. And that's why there is already a reduction in the preclinical timeline by 50%. So that way, the cost of the R&D has already been cut. Now, these two things have already been, with the help of AI, we have achieved. Now, the third one, the main one, that is the numbers of compound reaching the market. We will come to know in the future because there are still, clinical studies going on those molecules. We are talking about the single small molecules. We're not talking about nutraceutical or herbal. That is where Swalife actually already have the product based on the involvement of AI. So we have already shown that you can have a herbal nutraceutical product which can be target based and showing the effect. So that is already been achieved, but simultaneously in the drug discovery, the process are there, and with the clinical study wise, we will come to know that how long now it can be. Already people are saying that it will reduce the 50% time. That is, it can be six to 7 years, which will reduce the cost also. But now we need to know that how many numbers of compound actually can go into the market. So when we look to the end-to-end AI drug discovery pipeline, which some point I discussed yesterday only, but from the target, you can reach till clinical designing with the help of the AI. Many machine learning, part of the artificial intelligence are already utilized by many pharma, many small startups, and they are actually utilizing it in different phases of drug discovery. So, at each stage, the structural data is needed, which is a very important part, and the models are developed so that way the companies can keep the closed loop for only for certain type of the diseases and the drug on which they are working. So when we look at the first, that is the target identification and validation. So before actually we talk about this, I will just show you one of the tool that we have got for uh, target validation. So here we actually have, so you already identified the target and now you want to validate uh, the, the protein, the target, that what part is having mutation and all the other things. You can actually run this by taking the PDB ID, or you can also upload the PDB files if you have any PDB files. So let's say I will use the 4UND, that is the TRP inhibitor protein, and the structure will come like that. Now when you click on analyze structure, it will start the process. Now this take about 2 to 5 minutes. So I have already performed one here. Stop this. Okay, so we'll continue till it actually uh, give us the analysis part. We'll check again. So the tool that we have got actually help us to validate the protein, that is to understand that how it plays important role in the disease, but simultaneously what different parts in that protein are getting mutated, and where actually the leads can be focusing on. So we can actually validate the protein. So AI is actually helping to understand that and transforming this stage, also connecting to the protein which actually is there with other databases like multi-omic data sets, or any other databases like the protein databases which are available for the analysis purpose. It is still not working. It is working. So we'll come back. So the major approaches that are being used when you are looking at the target identification are the knowledge graph mining, which actually connect to the, as I told you, the databases with the literature. So that way you can develop the connection between disease genes and the protein association, which can actually help to understand the novelty or the risk of the protein. Then the multi-omic integration, where you can actually have machine learning models trained on the data from the proteomics and also from the other sets which actually have the pathways. It can be regulated, deregulated pathways which have been identified in that disease. Then drug ability assessment can be done. It can be structural based or it can be sequence based models, so that way it can predict the pockets. I actually want to. Okay, yes. So it is done now. So once it is done, it will show you here export result to Excel, generate report. But once we, uh, it's still working because it changed the protein. Come back. So with the AI, you also can help to understand the uh, predicting the binding pockets, the geometry of that. Also, you can filter the target rapidly. So, drug ability can be assessed on the protein. Causal interference framework is a very important, in driving the target from just a passenger associate to actually helping in significantly reducing the risk which can be there due to the irrelevant mechanism. So that is another thing which can be done using the AI approach in the target identification and targetation. Now, in second stage, which is the hit generation and virtual screening. Now, as I told yesterday, also we already have in silico studies where hits can be taken and also virtual screening can be done. But with the help of the AI, now it has been changing point. But also it has moved beyond high throughput screening to actually having intelligence, including it from the data which is there in the public domain. So we actually have one tool called Blockfree, where you will understand if actually there is a need to do in silico docking study for the lead when you actually run it from the AI platform. So let's say, okay, yes, now it is done. So you can see that it has changed the image of the protein. And once you look what information it has given, you can see it is giving us the protein interaction analysis where it is showing us the interaction that have found, then pathway which they have identified, and the mutation site. So 97 mutation sites are there on this protein. So you can see the interaction network of the protein and the pathway analysis. So pathway analysis is for the four pathways, that is NPK, MI3K, WNT, and Notch. So these are the four pathways, and then there will be the 97 mutation sites. So this gives us information that how actually the proteins are connected to the pathways and to the disease. So that's one of the tool that we use when we have already run the initial um, literature mining, and once we got the target which is needed for our leads to connect in the uh, in the chemo prevention study. So we are focusing on multi-target, multi-molecule formulation, that is polypharmacology there. Now, with the hit generation and virtual screening, what has changed is that with the virtual screening and generative chemistry has been, implemented with the help of the AI, because deep learning models are being utilized for docking purpose. So that way you can have graph-based or even a transformer architecture where billions of compound can be actually scored for the target, where the binding sites are in the uh, major part. So you can actually utilize the docking part platform for storing the compounds. Where you don't have the structure available, you can utilize QSR models and 3D pharmaconetworking predicting binding affinity. So that way it can be utilized in the ligand-based approach. Now, this is again, similar to what in silico is doing, but with the help of AI, we have moved to the further step where different key platforms are available. Again, they are in the closed loop where they actually, have developed a platform which can be utilized by only the people who are paying or who are collaborated with them. Like Schrodinger is there, in silico medicine is there, Recursion is there. So these are some of the key platforms. What they are using is the generative molecular design, where they're using different generative models, like it can be variational autoencoders, that is VAEs, then reinforced learning agent diffusion models. We are going to see the four models which are there, which can be utilized in generative molecular designing. So once you've done the in silico, got the molecules, you can actually take it towards the generative molecular designing and propose entirely new molecule with a scaffold which can be optimized for the target, and it will help us to understand the target affinity with that molecule. So that is where actually it has moved. It is not only doing the virtual screening, but it is also making sure that it can propose completely novel analog of the molecules so that can be optimized for that target. So these are some of the generative models which can be used in the chemical space, that is VAE, which is again used at when there is a good for scaffold swooping needed, or if you want to do fast generation, then the generative model of the GAN can be utilized, which is the adversarial model of the generative. And the third one is the reinforcement learning, where you can actually utilize this model for multiple property optimization. So when you want the molecule to be optimized for different properties, then reinforcement learning can be done. And when you want to actually have 3D molecular generation, diffusion models can be utilized to do that. So these are the chemical spaces which are using the generative model, and based on the approach which you want to utilize it for, there is different availability of these models which can give you the novel molecules. The third is the lead optimization. Now, this is a very important stage. Once you have the hit identified, where you have virtually screened it, then you have used the generative models, and now you actually got the lead. But the problem is that uh, it is there, but you need to synthesize it. And after synthesizing, you can actually use it for the testing. But before synthesizing, AI using a model called design, make, test, and analysis cycle, which actually is reducing these needs and also deciding on should we actually synthesize it or not. So it reduces numbers of months to actually test by using the predicting properties that for that compound. So that way you can only synthesize those compounds which actually are optimized for that. So this is the cycle where you initially design the molecule using generative and the predictive models. So that way it can give you multiple parameters like potency, selectivity, solubility. So this type of properties parameters can be understand. Then you move into making it by using the AI guided retrosynthetic tools. So there are already some tools available. Yes, you can also design your own tool based on if you are looking for certain types of molecule. You can design it using the large language model by vibe coding. You can do that, so that way you can have the optimization done for the synthetic route. Still, you have not started the synthesis, but you have reduced the synthesis effort by doing this. Then the third is that you will test that. So you will actively learn the algorithm prioritization, which will help to understand that which compound should actually be synthesized, and then it will be taken into the experiment, and this will actually help in reducing the numbers which are required. So this is the third. And then the fourth is the analysis, which is very important because the objective of this model is to actually have to integrate the essays in the real time. So that way, updating of the structural active relationship models can be done. So that way, it will increase the confidentiality in the lead, and it will be then taken into the in vitro or in the preclinical studies before moving into clinical. So this cycle actually help in reducing the numbers of compound which need to be synthesized, because it is already optimizing the lead by about 60 to 80%. So that way, a highly achieved candidate can be taken into clinical study. Remember that there are three issues in the present drug. Not now, we can't say present because we have already started using AI. But the first is the time, money, and third is the lead reaching in the clinical and in the market. So now we are focusing on the third one, where the leads in the candidates in the clinical should reach only those which have been optimized during all this process, not just the molecular docking or in silico study, but also utilizing the generative or predictive AI models. Now, the fourth stage is the ADMET properties, where absorption, distribution, metabolism, and excretion are the major, part. but the toxicity studies plays very important role, and lot of candidates which have been studied in vitro also actually have already got data for toxicity at the initial stage, but still this ADMET properties actually plays very important role in reducing the leads or reducing the drug from the clinical trial, because still there is an important role they are playing to find highly accuracy than proactive leads which can be useful in the clinical study. So in vivo study designing is very important when we are focusing on the having leads in the clinical. So key ADMET prediction capability, which can be done with AI, is that using graph neural network, you can look at the permeability of CaCO2, which is important in coral bioavailabilities. Then metabolic stability and CYP interactions. So CS cytochrome P40 inhibition is very important. That can be understand. Then cardiotoxicity and safety flags can be given by the AI at the initial stage only, which is very important when you are actually moving into in vivo and taking it towards the clinical. And the fourth one is the blood-brain barrier permeability can be understand at the initial stage, so that can be balanced efficaciously, so that way only the leads which can be taken further can be studied with the in vivo and with the help of the AI optimization at the initial stage only. Now, after these four stages, the important part which has been changed now with the AI is that the structural biology and also the AlphaFold, which is a very important tool now, where AlphaFold 2 and now AlphaFold 3 are actually supporting the molecular protein complex, but it also helps to predict structure of the proteins which are not there in the public domain. So that way, what is happening now? It can be useful for diseases like cancer, also for rare diseases targets, because sometimes there is no data available for those type of diseases. Also, about more than 200 million proteins are available in AlphaFold database. It can help in the pocket identification via molecular dynamics and AI assemble analysis. AlphaFold 3 is predicting protein ligand, protein nucleic acid, and protein antibody complex. So this is the major change now because of the AlphaFold tool, which is available for studying the proteins and the proteins which are not available with the help. Now, one of the major thing which Swalife has also part of, we have actually seen this. I have been working in this drug discovery process for nearly 12 years now, and what we have seen that many drug actually can go and show off target effect. So there is a need to go beyond single target optimization when we are addressing a complex disease, and that's what we are doing with the cancer. You cannot actually just target one protein or one target. You need to have multiple target, because off target effects are being shown. So that need to be studied, and AI models are actually helping to predict the binding affinity across different the pathways and the protein families. So that is one of the important activity of the AI in the modern drug discovery system, where you can get understanding about off target effect. Then the second one is the resistance, which are happening to the drug. In case of the cancer, there is a resistance to mutation as well, which can be predicted now with the help of the AI. So there are models which can stimulate that how mutation at the binding site is affecting the compound, and due to that there is a resistance happening to the compounds which are given, or drug which are given to the patient. So that way, actually, the chemist can design compounds which are robust and also will not show resistance to the mutation in the future. So that is happening, And the third one, which I mentioned, that Life is working on polypharmacology, where focusing on multi-target models in the diseases like oncology or even the CNS or even any maximum many chronic diseases. They don't actually just have one target, so you need to have leads which can be optimized to actually different target models, so you will achieve some synergetic effect out of it. So this is what is AI is helping in modern drug discovery, is very important. Now, with this help of studies in vitro, in vivo, we need to make sure that it will translate into the clinical prediction as well as moving into clinical study. As I told you that the major third stage of the drug discovery and development, that is the leads which are crossing from the first stage, then the second stage into third and the fourth stage are important. So first is the basic research, second is the preclinical, uh, initial stage of the clinical, third is the clinical, and the fourth phase of clinical and the market. So we need to understand that the AI drug discovery need to extend this prediction into the translation of biology into the clinical study. So that way we can actually have numbers of compound in the market which will help to treat the patient, and there where actually it is very important. So machine learning models are now available which can be trained on the clinical data set, so that way it can identify the predictive and the prognostic biomarkers. So it will again help to decide on the patient which will be selected in the clinical trial, and that way it will help in the improvement of the outcome of the clinical trial. That is one of the thing. The second thing is that with the help of the large language model, we have discussed previously as well, you can actually have synthetic data which can be helpful to understand that how actually the molecules, the leads can behave in the diseases like rare diseases or even the cancer diseases, and that will help into the development of that molecules or the lead. Then clinical outcome prediction can be done with the AI. So we can actually utilize data, preclinical data or PKPD data, biomarker profile, or any previous trial outcome to forecast the phases clinical outcome like phase 2, phase 3 can be predicted with the help of the AI, and utilizing the adaptive trial designing. So there are some platform which are already available, which have enabled the adaptive designing of the clinical trial, because it is very important sometime to have this approach while designing the clinical trial, so that way dosing strategies or endpoint selection strategies can be changed while the studies are going on. So these are some of the key AI platform and technology. We are entering into this phase, but there are already some of the major players in this. But again, the way we are working is different. So if you look at pure player who have only the AI tools, are the in silico medicine, XAITI, then there is AppCare and Relay Therapeutics, who are actually building end-to-end AI platform from target to the initial clinical stage assessment. There are some computational platform vendors actually. I mentioned earlier that you have got this tool which you can be utilizing. So Spot Injury is there, OpenEye is there. So these are some of the computational infrastructural players who have got the tools which can be utilized, and then the drug discovery can be done. In this, there are big pharma in-house capability players as well, like AstraZeneca, Pfizer, who has already invested into AI platform and integrated the machine learning tools for their focused areas. So they are available now. How we are different? We are actually have got, again, as I told you, we don't just have AI, but we have developed the formulation out of it, and we have got the product in the market. So we are not just a pharma player, or we are not a AI company, but we are utilizing the AI tools and developing the formulations which are in the nutraceutical herbal category which are in the market. Simultaneously, we are developing chemopreventive formulations which will come under the allopathic category, small molecular category, which will be utilized for the cancer treatment while the chemotherapy is going on. So that is where we are. Now, when we look at the pipeline of the drug discovery, what actually have changed that we have already like discussed that the time frame has changed, and the time frame has changed because the hit to lead, which was already faster due to the in silico, now it has gone 4x faster. So you can hit to lead studies can be done very fast, and that's why the project program which we are running is only 1 week, sorry, 1 month, because this is where we are actually showing that the hit to lead can be done in like in couple of weeks time. So it has reduced that time frame. Due to that, what has happened that the lead which we are studying again moves into the second stage where you will be looking into the synthesis process, which I told you the DMTA cycle. That is reducing 80% of the molecules which are not going to move into in vivo or clinical. So that is reducing. Due to that, traditional cost is going to reduce, and the candidate, which is from the synthesis into in vivo clinical, is moving faster. So it is taking like 18 months now, which was previously about 5 to 7 years. So it has already shown by in silico medicine that the candidate move into the clinical phase in 18 months time. So we will see now from clinical to the market how long and how many candidates are reaching. There are challenges, there are limitations and responsibilities which we continuously discussed previously as well, about the data, about the biases which you need to take care. The major issues which can arise due to this data and the quality and the biases, that the regulatory can actually create issues because the regulatory agencies can actually get involved into this. Yes, regulatory agencies are now actively developing guidelines when you are using AI assisted drug discovery and development submission. Then another thing is interpretability and the trust, which is again a major role plays by the human loop involved in the utilization of the AI. So that is very important. And validation of anything which you got from the AI, as I told you, Solef is doing that. With the help of this, we actually move into wet lab. We have got our own lab where we do initially in vitro, in vivo studies, and then we move into clinical studies. So that is very important. We are not synthesizing the molecule at this stage because we are focusing on herbal and the nutraceutical, but simultaneously the chemoprevention division will be moving into synthesis of the molecule. So the future of AI drug discovery, if you look from from here to about 2 to 5 years, it will completely move on the DMTA cycle, which I uh, discussed previously. That will be the closed loop library laboratory, which will automate. As I told you, in case of Life also we have lab, and we are making it a closed loop because the data which will be generated will be utilized to train our models. So at the moment, as I told you, co-pilot study. So yesterday only we discussed about this, that we are using AI as a co-pilot, as a assistant, and getting the information. It can be generative, it can be predictive, and with the RAG and agentic, it can be from the public domain. Now, moving from further, it will be the closed loop DMTA cycle. And in the long term, there will be automation of the AI system where hypothesis generation, compound designing, experimental validation, even moving into the clinical pathway will be optimized using the AI in the human in the loop. But yes, it will be with the help of the AI. As I told you, the robots are there which can be doing synthesis as well. So the major key takeaway for students, for the academicians who are actually working on research and developing their own lab and the group, should understand that you need to integrate AI in the infrastructure So that way you will have your proprietary biological data set, and you will have a scientific AI literate scientific team which will be more competitive advantage for you when you are focusing on developing of a project or for the funding or even for the IP generation. So that's about AI in drug discovery. And with the help of Swalife Biotech, we are actually trying to do that. We want to literate student faculty for the AI purpose, so you can actually put the AI infrastructure in your research and generate a biological data. In collaboration of Swalife Biotech, you can have generated data set for Swalife and the formulation that we are working on. But simultaneously, if you are focusing on any other chronic diseases, you can do that as well. So that's about the AI in drug discovery. And from Monday till Friday, we have actually discussed about different foundation concept in AI. We ended now with AI and move toward drug discovery. So once your project is allocated to you, you will be going to start with the process of the uh, process of the working on the drug discovery, where the people who are registered for predictive medicine will take the formulation towards predictive medicines, which we will be then taking into the clinical study. The second group that is working on AI in clinical research will actually use the tool, and we will be allocating one type of a clinical study which you will be designing using the scientific prompt from there. I will be discussing this tomorrow by showing you what actually need to be done. So the clinical person will be doing that. They will design the protocol, and we will be putting the protocol on the clinical trial website. The third group that is working on AI in pharmacovigilance will work on understanding what adverse effects are being created by the molecules which will be allocated to you. Those will be small molecules from the plant. With the allopathic drug, there will be one allopathic drug given to you, and you will generate the the report of the that formulation. So that will be for the AI and pharmacovigilance. Our main aim is not only to run the project, also bringing that data into public domain, so that way people will understand, the researcher, the academician, the scientist will start implementing AI in drug discovery, and we can have a faster output of molecule in the market. So that's about AI in drug discovery. If you have any questions, I'm here to answer. Thank you for attending. Okay, so if there are no any questions, um, I will see you tomorrow at 11 a.m. I have already, we have got the link on YouTube. Try to connect on YouTube so your questions will be there. I will answer the questions from there simultaneously. The similar type of question can be from other people as well, and that's why I trying to actually run through YouTube as well, so we can actually resolve everybody's queue. That is one thing. So the second will be the demo. The first demo will be for predictive medicine, but you can attend all the three demos, so you will see that what tools we have got and how you can utilize it. So thank you for joining today. I request uh, the students from the program to join tomorrow at 11 a.m., because that is very important part, because I'm showing the demo. But simultaneously, those who have attended till date the lectures and want to actually do project based program can contact our team, and you can be allocated the project, and you can start your program from today or tomorrow as well. Thank you.